Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining the channel. Today, we're coming at you with a very special episode all about kids. So, you may not know that I am an educator by trade, and I absolutely love supporting teachers, educators, principals, schools, whoever else, parents that interact with kids and really are the next step for our kids to make an impact in the world in the future. So, I absolutely love working with kids. And I had a privilege to work with my own this weekend. And I've worked with them in the past for AI use as well. And I thought it would be relevant to just come on and share what I'm teaching my teenagers about AI and how to utilize it to accomplish their schoolwork in a way that's ethical and has integrity, and doesn't do the work for them, but facilitates their work. So I'm super excited. So that's what we're talking about today. Hi, everybody. I am Monique Carlisle. I'm the business optimization and automation coach here at Midas Web. I'm an AI solutions engineer and love working with business owners to help them overcome their struggles and challenges and utilize AI to just scale their business. So we come on every day at 12 noon, and we usually talk about a business tip, trick, strategy, something you can put in your business right away to help it grow and scale. And then we develop that strategy with AI tools, and then we implement it with an automation system so that you can get back to family and put your business on autopilot. Here at Midas Web, we are a fan of the Midas, the Midas. Here at Midas Web, we are a fan of the high level system, which is an amazing automation platform that really just puts everything that you would need to run your business on autopilot. And so, if you are interested in learning more about that system, then definitely join us for open office hours right after this live training. Just click the link below and get that Zoom link and head on over about 12:30 every day. We're going to chat and ask anything. It's an open forum. So ask about business, AI. Let's do some coaching, strategizing, soundboarding, or get some support on your own high level system. So without further ado, let's talk about how kids can use AI. So I'm going to give you a couple of use examples. Well, first, let me back up and talk about the education system. I will try not to go down a too negative of a rabbit hole, but I have a strong opinion that we're moving away from some really important tried and true strategies in today's education system. And I'm experiencing this with my own children. So I have 5 children that have gone through the education system. I have 2 left. My daughter is a sophomore, and my son is in 8th grade. Now, my son is actually 2 years ahead in math, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And so that's just, I've seen it, and I've worked in the education system. I've worked in different schools. I've developed tutorial programs. I've trained teachers. So I've seen it. I've lived it. I am supporting it, or supporting the teachers who are stuck in it, right? One of the things that I've noticed is that teachers no longer have students writing their essays, reports, all of those things by hand. Okay. We're teaching handwriting in 1st grade, 2nd grade, right? But we're not having them write out their essays and reports by hand in junior high and high school. And that might be a good thing. You know, they need typing skills, they need word skills. So let's have them create on the computer, cut down on the trees. Cool, right? But that means that they're also not getting the revision work. If you remember when you were a kid, you would write out your essay, your story or whatever, and your teacher would mark it. There would be circles and there would be arrows, and you could revise, you could cut it apart and move the sentences around. That's a strategy I've used when I was teaching 4th grade. And so in the high school level, they're not getting that. They're not getting feedback. So like I've actually run into this with my daughter, who was like, when she brought home an essay she wanted to work on it, she's like, how do I fix this, make it better? I printed it, and then we started marking it. She goes, what are you doing? It's like, I'm marking it up. I'm revising. I'm giving you feedback. And she's like, I've never seen that before. She's in 10th grade. Okay. She had never seen this before. So that to say that there is a lack there. So can AI fill that gap? And my answer is absolutely. So how I trained my daughter is I told her to get an account with ChatGPT, use your Gmail, which is free, and then feed in her essay and be very specific and ask the GPT for feedback. How can I improve this? Please tell me what's good about this essay, what's strong, and where some improvement. When we were creating this prompt within GPT, we also told it, don't rewrite. Okay. So something we talk about in Midas Web, when we do our AI trainings, is that you have to tell it what you do and don't want it to do. Most GPTs will assume that you want it to recreate it, right? So if you ask for feedback, instead of giving you feedback, it'll give you feedback and then rewrite it. So it'll actually give you the result. Well, we want to make sure that with high schoolers, they're not getting a rewritten, right? They're just getting the feedback. So she had typed up her essay. She wrote in this prompt that I guided her on how to make. Then she fed in both. And then GPT came back and said, I see that your essay is about XYZ. Here are some strengths with it. And this is what could be improved. It was her transitions, right? Which she kind of was like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. She made some tweaks and then she fed the same prompt back into GPT. So she ended up making her own essay, but using AI4 as a tool, okay, to give her feedback. That's relevant and acceptable, right? It's just a tutor. Another way that you can have younger kids use tutors, this is super cool, is on your app, if I can make it work, is when you open up your GPT app, you can actually turn on voice. So I have it turned off right now because I'm talking to you. But if I were to I'm going to turn it on in just a second. I'm going to pretend to be a fifth grader. Okay. Let's see. What are fifth graders learning about? Hi, GPT.
It sounds like you're asking about iGPT, which usually refers to Image GPT. Image GPT.
No, stop.
GPT, generative pre-trained transformer model designed for generating.
Stop. I was just saying hello. Hi, GPT. I wanted to talk to you about science. It's not working. Hold on. Hold for manual control. Hi, ChatGPT. Can you hear me? Okay, hold on. Let's start over. I'm still learning this. It's a new thing. Hi, ChatGPT. Can you hear me?
I can't actually hear you, but I can understand what you're typing. Let me know if you meant something specific by asking.
It says it can't hear me, but then it said it could understand what I said. But anyways. Hi, I'm a fifth grader and I am struggling to understand food webs. Can you help me?
Of course, food webs can seem tricky at first, but I'll break it down for you. A food web shows how different animals and plants are connected through what they eat. Think of it like a big map that shows who eats who in nature. Producers are at
now it's going to continue talking until the answer is done, but you can program it to be a tutor for your fifth grader to talk about math or history or science, and then it can have a conversation back and forth. And I'm super, super excited about this because this is going to make it accessible for our first graders to talk about what they're reading, right? And then there's a lot more coming out with that too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, go ahead and stop it. So that is another way that AI is going to be used with kids, okay? And the last example I'll share with you today is my son was writing, like all teenagers and kids, he did not do his major project until last night, and it was due this morning. So it was two two-page essays that follow a prompt. I love that they gave him like 6 choices, but or 9. It was a lot of options, but he got to pick 2 that resonated with him. And so what he did The first was, why should this book have a sequel? Okay, so it was a persuasive essay. And we wrote that one by hand. Okay, so I walked him through brainstorming and revising, and actually they're on the floor over there. I have his paper where we this is what I do with my kids. Wrote it up, marked it up, made some changes. So I printed out his work, and we did all that work. But then the second essay choice that he did was research the author and explain how the author's beliefs, experiences impacted the book, right? So research is a pretty intense activity, right? So looking through all of the websites and searching for credible information and then summarizing it and then applying it. I mean, there's a lot of work that happens with research. And if you know anything about Bloom's taxonomy, research is up there in the analysis and evaluation phases. So it's like way up there in the cognitive understanding. Down at the lower level, it's who, what, when, where, why, right? So very foundational knowledge, regurgitating that knowledge and applying it in your own ways. And then you've got the analysis, evaluation, and then this prompt, this assignment was actually synthesis. So taking all of this information from her life and applying it and interpreting how it impacted the book. Okay. Well, research in and of itself, not let alone the connection, the research is important, but kind of a lower level skill of what the assignment was. Do we really want him to spend 2 hours typing in the author's name and then reading article after article after article that mostly say the same things and maybe have 1 or 2 new nuggets of information? Okay. And if you've done research before, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You write three or 4 articles and you get the same kind of information in each one, presented a little bit differently, and maybe 1 or 2 new pieces of information from each article. And then you got to consolidate it. Well, with AI, you don't have to do that anymore. So I taught him how to use Perplexity. And Perplexity AI is a research tool that I love. So I taught him how to interpret the assignment and turn it into a series of questions to have a conversation with Perplexity. So the first thing he did was pre-prompt it, which is what I call pre-prompt it, when you get the AI thinking in a certain schema. So we just said, hey, what do you know about this author? So we weren't even asking about specifics, just getting the AI to think about this author. And it gave a short bio. Awesome. Now tell me about when the author was writing, when did the author write this book? And we gave it the title and it gave a little bio. And then we walked through the questions that pulled out the facts, but I would not let him put it in a consolidated way, right? He had to do those connections. So then with all of that information, it was probably about an hour and a half-ish of research work done in about 15, 20 minutes. So he saved an hour of work because he didn't have to do the research and read redundant articles. What he needed to do next was pull out the facts that AI had presented and turn it into his own essay. So we took the assignment, and as a good teacher, we broke it down into the different pieces that it was asking for. And I told him, write a paragraph that addresses each of these points from your research. And then we clean it up and we do all the revision, all fun, that stuff like that, right? It probably took him 2 hours total to write this essay when it normally would have taken him 4 to 5 hours. It was a major project. So we saved him 2 hours and he got the same level of work done. That is the power of AI. And that is what we can do in business when we are smarter about doing our own product research or company research or market comparison research. We're doing our client and audience research. Okay, what are they interested in? What are they searching for and needing? How are they thinking? Where can I find them? all of that research can be done faster and easier. So today's a really short episode. The last thing I wanted to share that I did say I was going to mention was my son is 2 years ahead in math. And so what we can do is we can use, just like I showed you on the phone, you have a voice AI where he can talk to the voice AI about math. Or we can ask, what are some things that he can do to get ahead in his other subjects? Because we're looking at graduating him early. That's something we're starting to consider. So all that to say, AI for kids, it's not scary. It's going to be a game changer for a lot of kids in a lot of different places, and a game changer for teachers too, because teachers can now write their lessons faster and easier. And I'm super excited to support them on that. So a little bit of a different type of topic today, but if you do want to talk about business, click that link below. Join us for open office hours at 12:30, and let's grow your business. Thank you so much for joining the channel. See you next time.